Be creating some spiral art or geometry spiral art in Scratch. So the first thing we need to do is come down to the bottom left corner, this purple extensions menu. You're going to open that up and you're going to select your pen extension. Okay, that's going to add a whole nother set of blocks to our menu, and now we're ready to do some drawing. So first couple things we're going to do, we're going to set up our screen. So I'm going to drag over a when green flag click. That'll be our start button. And I'm going to make sure that at the beginning of our program, every time we erase the whole screen. We also have to choose what pen we want to draw with. So we're going to set pen color, and you can choose whatever color you want to start with. Just click on the color and select a color. We also are going to set up our pen size. So set pen size, and I'm going to choose a 3 right now. This is the thickness. Do you want a thin line or do you want a wider line? Now, the other thing we want to do for setup is make sure that our sprite always is in the center of the screen there. So I'm going to go to the motion blocks, and I'm going to set up a go to block at the top and make sure this is 0, 0. I also want to make sure that our sprite always starts facing straight ahead. So the way we can do that is we'll put a point in direction 90 right at the top there as well. All right, now for this program, we're going to have to create 3 variables. Remember, variables are just storage in our program. They let us put some information in that storage that we can use in our code later. So the 3 variables we're going to need, okay, and I will start from scratch here with you. Okay, I'm just right-clicking and deleting variables I don't need. But what you're looking for is this button at the top that says Make a Variable. And we need 3 variables. These are going to help us draw our shape. So some things we need to know about our shape. We need to know how many sides it's going to have. So we're going to say number of sides and then say OK. If you need to at this point, you can pause the video to copy the name of the variable before moving ahead. All right, next variable, make a variable. And we need to know how long the sides are going to be. So side length. And then lastly, our computer needs to know the angle measurement inside the shape. So after it draws a line, what angle does it need to turn before it draws the next line? So we'll just call that angle. Okay. All right. So now we're going to set up our shape for our computer. We're going to say set, and let's do side length first. And we're going to set this to 100 steps for now. You can always experiment with this later, but it's a good starting point. It's long enough to see your shape and not so long that it goes off the screen. There's our button. All right. Next up, number of sides. So we're going to say set, change this to number of sides. And this tells us what type of shape to draw. If it's a triangle, 3 sides. If it's a rectangle, 4 sides, and so on. I'm going to do a pentagon, so 5 sides. So we'll put a number 5 in there. And then lastly, we're going to set up the angle measurement. And for this, we're going to have the computer do a little bit of math to calculate. So I'm going to go to my green operators and drag over a division symbol. It's like that slash, looks like a fraction, division. Fractions are division. And we're going to say divide 360. And 360 is because all the way around a circle, you have 360 degrees. So we're going to go all the way around 360 and then divide that by the number of sides in our shape. And that'll tell the computer what angle measurement to turn before drawing each line. All right. Now we can start drawing. So we're going to put our pen down on paper. And we're going to grab a repeat block because we're not just going to draw one line. We need to draw the number of lines that our shape has. So in this case, we'll say repeat however many sides our shape has. Okay. And now we want to move that line forward. So we're going to go get a move block. Okay. And we're going to use our variable for side length, move however long we said the sides will be. And then turn, and we'll say turn whatever angle you calculated. And we're using these variables to make our code more efficient. So the idea is if we want to go in and change the number of sides to draw a different shape, we don't have to go through and change a bunch of blocks in our code. We only have to change one block, and then everything else will update automatically. That's why we're using the variables. Okay? And so now at the end, we'll say, take the pen up off the paper, and then we should be all set. So let's run our green flag and test that. Ooh, okay, so far we have one pentagon. Well, I want to make some spiral art, so I want it to repeat pentagons around in a circle. So I'm going to need another loop. We're going to have a loop inside of a loop. So we call those nested loops. All right, we're going to take this repeat block here and put that around our first repeat block. And now, though, I need to be careful. I want this pen up outside at the very end. Now, if I repeat 10 times, let's see what happens. Oh, it's not moving. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell our cat to just turn a little bit before drawing the next shape, and then turn a little bit before drawing the next shape. So we're going to say turn here. Now let's run that. Okay, I want to go all the way around. So 10 didn't get me around. Let's change this to 20 and test it. Almost. Ooh, almost all the way around. All right, we'll try some bigger numbers until we get all the way around. There we go. Great. Now, I just want to hide the variable numbers that are on my screen here. I just want to see my art. So I'm going to go back to variables. If you just uncheck these boxes, you can hide those. And then there's a couple things you could play with in your code here. So one might be you could change your pen color as you go around the circle. So one thing you could do is grab this change pen color, have it change every time it loops around. There we go. So that's one thing to play with. Another thing you could do is make this interactive. So you could ask a player what number of sides they want, and then you could plug that into your variable. So I could do something like this here before my variables and say, how many sides in your shape? And then I could plug in the answer to that here in our number of sides. So let's try that. Ooh, let's say 8. There we go. And now we have a new shape. All right, and that's it. Have fun drawing.